You are now listening to the Hot Take Hot Box. You are now listening to the Hot Take Hot Box. You are now listening to the Hot Take Hot Box.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is the Hot Take Hot Box. My name is Matt McSweeney. I am always joined by Ty Capone. The Eagles held their, I don't know what the hell you can call that. I guess it was a press conference. Howie Roseman. I thought Jeffrey Lurie was going to be out there, but I guess that they changed their mind on that, or maybe I'm just hallucinating. Nick Sirianni was up there, and that man was getting grilled. That was, we're literally recording this about 10, 20 minutes after that thing ended. So, again, Hot Take Hot Box. My name is Max. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the Sixers. Joel dropping a 70-piece on the people out there, just absolutely emasculating Wemby, letting them know what the NBA is all about. We got a little bit of Flyers to talk about. Carter Hart steps away, so I think we know what's going down with him. And we got a little bit of Phillies. Rhys Hoskins is now a Milwaukee Brewer. So, Ty, how are you feeling today? You got James Paxton is also an LA Dodger, so you at least you got a little good news in your neighborhood.
They needed a lefty to kind of replace Kershaw, because Kershaw, he can still come back, but he won't be back until I think July with that shoulder injury that he had, that issue. So I think I'm fine with it. James Paxton last year was actually pretty solid until I think either his first couple starts or his last couple starts were not great. But overall, he was honestly not bad for a guy who didn't pitch the year before. I mean, high risk, low reward. There's incentives for him in the contract. It's a 1-year deal. I'm fine with it. We have pretty much a 6-man rotation right now, which they obviously I don't think should or will run. But honestly, maybe at the beginning of the year, I don't really see a problem with it. Most of our guys are coming back from some kind of injury. Dustin May, Walker Buehler, Paxton's always hurt. Like I said about Kershaw. So maybe just, taking some weight off these guys' shoulders. You don't have to start 30, 40 games anymore. This is not the 2000s, the 90s, 80s. So maybe slow playing it, seeing what Yamamoto's got early in the year, maybe limiting him to like 5 innings, 6 innings, just something to ease into the season. I know it's a long fucking year. It's a real grind. So I'm here for it. Yeah. Whatever you got to do, keep signing guys. I truly don't care. That's what I've been asking them to do for a while. And every other team's fan base is mad at the Dodgers and hates the Dodgers. But I get it as an outsider. But how about asking your team? And how about getting
that's more where I'm angry. I'm not angry that the Dodgers are doing it. I'm angry that the Phillies haven't done shit yet. So
right, letting Hoskins, whether you wanted to keep him or not, some move has to be made for something, and they haven't done really anything. I mean, nobody has really made a move. Blake Snell's still trying to get 300. That's not happening, buddy. So maybe him and Bellinger have to bring their price tags down. The stove is cold.
Stove is still cold, but first, ladies and gentlemen, we must get into our Philadelphia Eagles. It turns out, Ty, the last time we talked, we were very aggressive and angry towards this team, and I still feel that way. Make no mistake about it. But as of now, it's not as of now. They are not going to fire Nick Sirianni right now. It's very apparent. The man was just in a press conference sitting next to the GM. They cited that look at his record, his playoff wins. I actually can't I guess not that I can't believe it, because of course this is the Eagles, this is Howie Roseman, but I guess I'm more disappointed. I'm not angry. I'm just disappointed that the Eagles are going to do this, and I really think they're just going to waste next year. I think and you know what though, when I say that, I also do believe that they'll probably be good enough for him to keep his job next year. Like, they have enough talent, and they're going to bring in somebody who's going to fix the defense. I don't know about the offense. And they'll probably be good enough to make the playoffs. Maybe they'll win the wild card round or something like that. But I guess I'm more disappointed that, in my mind, their spot amongst the elites in the NFL teams, that is, you could argue that they're still an elite franchise just based off their recent track record. But as of now, Ty, I have no faith in them being able to return to that 14-3 just masterpiece that was last year.
Yeah. I don't think the press conference was like anything good. It just is what it is. It was what it was. I don't think there was anything to really expect that would be huge. It wasn't as much coach and GM speak as I thought it might be, but it still kind of was, right? It was still kind of scripted, or not scripted, but they knew what they were going to say. Also, making everybody wait a half hour, that was good.
Insane. I think we know why though.
Yeah, yeah, they had to get their DC.
Yeah,
which I love. I love getting Vic Fangio back in here. He was supposed to be here last year. Getting him out of Miami was great. He did such a good job in Miami, and they had like 35 guys go down all year, and a couple times they lost guys, key players in blowouts that the players should not have been in. So he really he really had a tough test, and he did pretty well. So I love it. I'm here for it. I wasn't sure what other defensive guy was going to be around. I think it's probably harder to find a DC than an OC. Maybe it could be just a random guess, but I like it. Jesse Minter's probably going to follow Harbaugh, so that was a name that I was interested in. So yeah, I love it. Vic Fangio coming back home. Now the Dolphins need a D coordinator, so at least we have that settled. But yeah, back to the quotes and everything. I thought it was kind of interesting, some of the things they said, and then sometimes they would back it up. Like Sirianni was like, "Yeah, we want to get a whole new, we want to get an outsider, a guy from the outside to come in here, but also maybe we can bring in somebody that's familiar with what we do around here." So I didn't love that, but I guess he didn't want to really say that. It seemed like he didn't want to say the wrong thing, so he was kind of just covering all of his bases. Is what it seemed like.
If it really was true that's the reason they were in a meeting, that was the what the rumor was, that why the press conference was delayed a half hour, then why? I mean, I guess you can't say. I guess they weren't like worried they might get in trouble if they say that that's what they're gonna do, but can't you just basically say like, yeah, we're gonna like. I don't know. Like, it was the scheme the problem this year for the defense? I guess not, right? I mean, we the argument could be made that it was more personnel and the fact that your cornerback, in James Bradbury became burnt toast halfway through the season. Maybe the problem was that your line couldn't get any rush or anything like that. I don't know. I mean, they definitely couldn't get off the field on third down. I guess if they're going to do this scheme, I was just tweeting about this with a couple people that I follow. It's like, if they're going to go and run this scheme again, then I'm fine with it being the actual man who's like the godfather of this scheme in Vic Fangio. Like that, if that's what they're going to do, then let him coach the defense. A guy who he fits the bill of all the thing that they were looking for on that defensive side of the ball. A guy who's a former head coach, guy who's been a defensive coordinator, for a long time, has a long list of experience, and just has been a football lifer, basically. He's from this area. It just speaks to, he'll speak to the people. The people will probably love him and will identify with him. So I think he fits everything that he needs. And, Sirianni wants somebody where he's not going to have to really worry about the defense at all, because he's not a defensive guy. We'll talk about what they basically named Sirianni is basically just going to be a cheerleader of some sort this season, a motivator. I don't know, because he's not going to run the offense and he's not going to run the defense, and so like what does that leave him to do? But I guess I do just want to hear, like, are you satisfied with Vic Fangio?
Yeah, I see some people citing that he was with the team in 2022 to prepare for the Chiefs in the Super Bowl, and they're like, "Oh, I don't want him because you know how that ended." Meanwhile, it has nothing to do with anything. He was just there, just to be another voice, another person in the meetings and whatnot. So I don't really hold that against them. But also, like what you said, it's a lot about the personnel. Like we gotta get some linebackers. I think at the beginning of the press conference, Howie Roseman said something about how people criticize our usage of linebackers, or us not, having good linebacker play. And then he said, both Super Bowl runs, our linebacker play was great. And I'm like, yeah, it was. That's why I was kind of confused why you didn't keep either of the linebackers from last year. That both, I don't know if Kaiser White had a great year. I'm sure he had a bunch of tackles. He was on a bad team too. I think T.J. Edwards. Who was he on? Was he on the Bears? Two not good teams, and I'm pretty sure they both played pretty well. And I don't think Cunningham was awful. And there was times where Nick Morrow was decent, but Nakobe Dean was hurt all year. And we can't have those three. That can't be our only three linebackers. We said this all year, even when they were all playing well. We were like, yeah, honestly, this probably isn't going to work. Like, we were so desperate. Cunningham came in what, August or maybe even September with Miles Jack. and then we brought in Leonard. So, I'm kind of confused why he didn't keep any of the linebackers from last year, but whatever, it is what it is. Hopefully going forward, he takes a look at some linebackers or DBs or defensive players in general in those first couple rounds.
Yeah, obviously, like that seems like the issue. Like that's why I'm not. I was just tweeting this too, and people were disagreeing with me, saying that they're not worried about the offense. I'm more worried about the offense because I think on the defensive side, I can point more to the personnel being the issue. You know, where you have guys running out there like, I hate to do this, but guys like Reed Blankenship, you know, like who he's not horrible, but he's limited, right? Would you say? I mean, there's a reason the man went undrafted. You have linebackers who were kind of replacement level linebackers who were available late in training camp and things of that nature. I think there's a reason why those guys become available. There's a reason why I wanted to just start shitting on the defensive line because I really feel like that's where the holes of the team are, and I don't know how they fix that immediately because you have contract for Josh Sweat. You know, Fletcher Cox is probably going to walk away. You don't know how good really Jordan Davis is. Jalen Carter is probably the only bright spot that you have, and he sort of slowed down towards the end of the year. I imagine he's going to have a big year next year. And then you have Hassan Reddick on the other side, who I think is he's entering the last year of his contract. So, and these are all guys I just named who really couldn't get any sort of pressure on the quarterback aside from the playoff game. So I don't know. I just that seems to me like the personnel is more of the issue. When you look at the offense, you have an offense that is loaded talent-wise, has had one of the best offensive lines in the league, has 2,000-yard receivers, has easily probably a top 10 to be conservative tight end, and has a top 10 quarterback that's being paid an awful lot of money. So that team nucleus couldn't muster more than 9 points in the playoff game. Couldn't muster more than 13 or 17 or 10 against the Cowboys. Or, it was rough go. They only scored 24 points against the Cardinals. I don't count the pick six that was, distributed by Sidney Brown. So this is a team that needs a whole new identity on offense, and I really do hope Sirianni means it when he says that he's going to let this new guy come in and run the offense and do his thing. And he also said that they would be crazy to not add some of the things they've been doing in the past. And I had again people tweeting me saying that that's a good thing. They've had good run game and things of that nature. That you're looking at it from a positive standpoint, that you think that's what they mean when he says that. That might not be what he means. He might mean I'm still want to keep that QB draw in the playbook. I still want to be running them bubble screens. I don't know.
I guess we'll never know, right?
We'll have to see it happen before I really can make a determination. I'm just more telling you that I think we're wasting our time having Nick Sirianni being the head coach. I will keep saying that, and hopefully I'm wrong. I hand up to God was wrong about Jalen Hurts. Last year, said the guy wasn't going to be really that great of an NFL quarterback, and I'm willing to admit that I was wrong on that. This year he didn't look that great, but I still think I'm wrong. I still think he can be a really good NFL quarterback. The offense to me, just because you have a lot of talent, that doesn't mean that that's just necessarily going to come to fruition or it's going to just happen overnight. There's something wrong on that side of the ball.
Yeah, hopefully the draws and the screens aren't staying. I saw we interviewed the USC senior analyst Cliff Kingsbury to see what maybe if he wants to come back to the league and be our OC. I don't know. I've seen mixed things about him. I don't know X's and O's. I'd have to follow Mr. Johnny Page or a couple other people, but it seems like most quick thoughts. That's my guy.
Literally, no, that guy. I see him all the time on my Twitter. I'm like,
he grinds, dude.
He knows what he's talking about, man.
Yeah. So I'm not sure. I guess he did coach Jalen Hurts at or Lincoln Riley coached Jalen Hurts at Oklahoma, and Cliff Kingsbury working under Lincoln Riley at USC. Maybe that matters. Maybe it doesn't. I'm not sure. He was the head coach at Texas Tech. That didn't work. OC at A&M. OC at Houston. The Cardinals coach. He kind of failed upwards, which is kind of weird. So I don't know how I feel about him in general. I see some people throwing out Byron Leftwich, Josh McDaniels. I'm way good on Josh McDaniels. I'm good on Kellen Moore. I'm good on Frank Reich. Zach Robinson's an interesting name, the QB coach in LA under Sean McVay. He's going to be an OC sooner rather than later anyway. Only 37. I think he played at Oklahoma State. So maybe a new this year's version of Brian Johnson. I'm not sure. Arthur Smith, I see people throwing his name out there. I'm good. I'm all the way good. Alex Van Pelt's another one from the Browns. So yeah, I'm not sure. There's a bunch of names out there, and I don't know. I have no idea. At least the DC hire kind of happened quick, so we were able to take that in. I have no idea.
I'm looking for the tweet though that the Eagles have been an RPO team and whatnot, and they were 32nd in motion, and I believe Cliff Kingsbury during his time in Arizona was 30th in motion and 32nd in under center rate. So it's basically just going to be essentially a lot of the same stuff that we've been doing, and with the same kind of lack of ingenuity or any sort of I don't know, just change that seems like as much as I said it a couple weeks ago that I wanted him, and then I started looking into it and I was like, I don't know. I'm not sure. I actually don't know, Ty, what name they could tell me right now that's available for an offensive coordinator position that would get me excited or really would have me because you said Kellen Moore. That offense was bad for the most part. I mean, they had Justin Herbert, they had Keenan Allen. They were able to move the ball in portions this year, but maybe that was a situation where they were just doomed from the start. Bad head coach. Austin Eckler couldn't run the ball at all this year. I don't know if that's a him problem or if that was
seemed like
a scheme problem or the offensive line is bad. I don't know. Probably a combination of a bunch of them. Now, Zach Robinson from the Rams, that is a guy that's intriguing. I would like somebody. I think I saw Mike LaFleur was also another name that people were floating around. I don't think we've interviewed any of these people that we're talking about, but I would like a couple of these guys. I want somebody from that sort of McVay, Shanahan coaching tree that's going to come in here and add a little bit to our offense, because you watch those Rams games, you watch those not the Cardinals, the 49ers games, those offenses have a lot of different wrinkles to them that when you watch the Eagles, they just did not have. And I obviously, if on the checklist, I'd like to have a guy who's called plays before, but that's not exactly in abundance out there. And there's a reason if they've called plays and they're available right now that they are available. It's because they were fired or they stunk. I still think they're just going to go to Frank Reich. I that's my gut. Tells me, Ty, or they might go to a Cliff Kingsbury. But I think they're going to go to Frank Reich. I think they're going to want to run, Nick Sirianni's going to want to run his version of the offense. And Frank Reich it's basically Frank Reich's offense that Nick Sirianni runs, and Frank can come in and call the plays. That makes me sick to my stomach, but that's just I have such a negative view of the Eagles right now. I feel like that's just they're going to go for the safe sort of option.
Yeah, I'm interested in Gerard Johnson. He has worked under Sirianni in Indianapolis. He was in a part of the Kyle Shanahan coaching tree. He was on the Eagles in 2011, the Dream Team.
Yeah.
He's a Houston native, just like Jalen Hurts. Maybe that plays a part. He used to play quarterback. He was pretty good at A&M. Bobby Slowick, he's another one. I think he's from the area, right?
Yeah, but I feel like he would just be a head coach. That's why I don't include him, because he would be a head coach if he was I think he's going to get head coaching jobs, or if he doesn't get that job, I think he stays in Houston.
Yeah, I mean he's the OC at Houston, right? And then Gerard Johnson's a QB coach.
Yeah.
He's from Princeton, New Jersey. He's part of the Shanahan tree. One of those two, I think, would be my pick. Again, I don't really know shit about fuck, but I think just seeing what they've done with C.J. Stroud, I mean, that offense in general, Nico Collins, Devin Singletary was making some plays.
Yep.
Has been making plays in the playoffs. That guy's career was dead a couple years ago. So that has to make me think that they're doing something right over there. And I love DeMeco Ryans. I think what he brings to the team is awesome, kind of like what Gerard Mayo could potentially be in New England if the Whites don't run him out. But you know, I don't know. I think, yeah. I know how it gets. I think one of those two would be a perfect. Again, I don't know which one. Maybe both, but no. I think one of those for sure is who I'm keeping an eye on. We'll see who else materializes. Anybody from the Shanahan coaching tree is what me and you are looking forward to. I saw people say Brian Greasy from San Francisco. I don't know.
Sure.
I don't know anything about him. Sure, why not? Clint Kubiak. I think he's the San Fran passing game coordinator. Jason Vrabel, no relation to Mike Vrabel. He's the Green Bay passing game coordinator. So Thomas Brown, the Carolina OC. I don't think I want the Carolina Panthers OC, but the McVay Shanahan tree is definitely what we should be barking up.
Give me Dan Orlovsky. Fuck it.
Yeah, Dan O. I'm watching him right now. He's breaking shit down.
In all seriousness, I just want some. I did respect that Sirianni was like, "Hey, this guy's going to come in here and run the offense." So if that's the case, I'll take him at his word. Then that makes me feel good. All right, that's a positive thing. But I really would like somebody from that San Francisco coaching tree to be my offensive coordinator. Somebody to kind of steal their own, steal a little bit from them. I mean, Brian Greasy, he was on TV for a while, right? I feel like he was.
Yeah.
He was on ESPN.
He did some college football games. He was doing right.
Right. That's what I felt like. I felt like I was seeing him on ESPN for a while or something along those lines. Maybe. And broadcasting career. He was employed by ESPN, working as an analyst for the network's college football coverage. Greasy also served as a color commentator for the Denver Broncos 2010 and 2011. From 2020 to 2022, he joined the booth for Monday Night Football. That's what I thought. Steve Levy and Louis Riddick.
Yeah.
I mean, we didn't watch a lot of them games because that was
so
bad.
pathetic.
But I don't think it was
Also,
necessarily his fault.
Steve Levy.
Yeah.
Steve Levy, just the worst commentator to ever do anything ever. I remember one time he was doing an LSU game and he kept mispronouncing players' names. I wanted to fucking strangle him because they were so easy to pronounce. Anyway.
Yeah.
Shout out to Michael Divinity, former LSU linebacker.
Shout out.
Yeah, I think Slowick's the guy. I think that's. I keep reading things on Twitter, and I think that's the guy. He did what Shanahan did. I guess worked on defense first, and then worked on the offense. So he just seems like a great mind. He seems like he's been around the right people, doing the right things. That's my guy. That's my number one candidate. Go get him or Gerard Johnson.
Yeah, he ain't coming here though. I'm telling you, Bobby Slowick is not coming here.
I think he's probably.
I don't think they let you go laterally. Like if they were like maybe to hire him and make him the assistant head coach, then I think you could do it. But even if I'm him, I'm not doing it. I'm holding out. I'm staying there and I'm waiting until somebody lets me be a head coach. That would be my.
Yeah, there's no reason I would assume for him to leave that situation that he's in. He's developing a star quarterback who's only 22, a couple of good receivers, a great offense in general. Under a great young head coach, like they have the ball rolling over there in Houston. So I'm with you. Probably not, but why not? I mean, maybe that leads you to get the QB coach, Gerard Johnson. But he's also never called plays before. That gets me worried. I want somebody who's at least called plays of some sort. But that's kind of what worries me about the LSU offensive coordinator job. They're promoting two guys who I don't think have ever called plays. So it's always a risk, right? You give somebody, it could be the smartest mind who's worked under the smartest coaches for 20 years, but if they've never called plays and next thing you know, they're, screen draw. Yeah, it's not going to look good. So yeah, hopefully that's what we can do. We'll see. I guess I'm sure in the coming days, they're going to try to get this wrapped up quickly. I would assume the Vic Fangio thing just happened really quickly.
It's crazy in the middle of that press conference, and I don't think anybody asked a question about it.
No, they did. Somebody did. And
did they?
Whatever. I don't think they were going to say anything.
Yeah, they probably can't
about it. Yeah, but Schefter said, him and Miami are parting ways. Now look for him to be the DC in Philly.
The deal was expected. You're like, whoa, like.
Yeah, and I wanted Ryan Nielsen badly from the Falcons, but I like Vic Fangio. I'm here for it. Get the job done quick, move on quick, and then see what we can do on offense. Hopefully it's Slowick. Again, that's probably not going to happen, but I think that would be an absolute home run. And I mean, we'll see. Hopefully they make a good hire. We can just read up on whoever it is, and then just prepare for the draft because that's what I'm looking at.
Yeah, I'm right now. Like I would like even Brian Greasy. I don't know if that would be his thing or his move. I know I think he's the quarterback's coach in San Fran, and he's turned that scrub into a somewhat competent quarterback. So I can't, that's got to be worth something. I think you probably, Mike LaFleur is the offensive coordinator in Los Angeles, so I don't think you'd be able to get him. I think Zach Robinson would probably be the next best bet, and I know he's a younger guy, and I don't think he's. I don't know. He hasn't called plays at the NFL level, so I don't know if that would be, their move. But I mean, he's been with the Rams since 2019. Been an assistant quarterbacks coach, assistant wide receivers coach, back to assistant quarterbacks coach, and then he's now the passing game coordinator and quarterbacks coach. So if anyone that hasn't called plays, that would be my move. At some point somebody's gonna have to give, like you said, you just don't know. You don't know who, like, when you give these guys a chance, what kind of quarterback they're going to be when you get them, or what kind of quarterback, what kind of play caller they're going to be. Because I'm looking at, I forgot he was the quarterback at Oklahoma State. Now I'm like remembering him back in the day, but
Justin Blackman, baby.
Yeah, Justin Blackman, shout out, and Dez Bryant. That's what I'm also seeing, that they're like good portion of the season. Dez Bryant
was playing. Yeah, Whedon was Blackman.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy, but. I mean, other than that, like, what are any other obscure ones? Like I said, Dan Orlovsky just as a joke, but at some point, if I was like running a team, I would love him to come in and be my quarterbacks coach or something like that. I mean, the guy is not a moron, and just because he's on TV, like people would like shut him down or poo-poo him. There's plenty of guys who've gotten jobs straight from TV. Who turned out to be
Gruden.
And I mean he was a coach before, but it's like just because these guys he played in the league for many years, he knows what he's talking about. He studies this stuff all the time. It's basically his job to study it. So I wouldn't just shut that down right away.
So in 2009, I guess Dez didn't play; he got hurt. But they had Dez and Justin Blackman on the same team.
It's insane.
With Kendall Hunter. The year before they went 9-4. They had Kendall Hunter. It was pretty good. I remember. I thought he might have got arrested when he got to the league or something, but it was Dez Bryant, Brandon Pettigrew, Justin Blackman. I mean, Jesus Christ, Zach Robinson throwing the ball. So bring him in, dude. Bring him in. Let's go.
Yeah, I think we just need somebody to really that is from one of those trees. McVay, Shanahan, and I really don't even think anyone else would get me excited like that. I think those are the two that I would count on and trust. I am glad that they have a defensive coordinator that's not like a Sean Desai or, even though Jonathan Gannon was nice, Jonathan Gannon just never really got me excited. He was just kind of a guy. At least we had, like, I feel like your DC has to be this guy who's like in his 60s, has seen everything, done everything, a little angry all the time. Like, that's the kind of guy we need. And especially if this guy, Vic Fangio, from the area, I think he fits in perfectly here. I think that will do well. I just, the offensive coordinator situation is going to be something that is going to persist, and I wonder what they're going to do with it. Because did you hear them also say that Nick Sirianni was the one that went to Roseman and got Sean Desai demoted? Do you believe that that's actually the case, or how that happened?
Yeah, I think so. I think he probably was like, all right, this is the decision we have to make. Nick Sirianni being the one that coordinated the DC change that absolutely did not work is no surprise to me. Because me and you, I don't think we don't think Sirianni really knows what he's doing.
No.
So hopefully he can just encompass more of that Dan Campbell role and be the rah-rah, hoo-hoo guy and, tell Chiefs fans to go fuck themselves, which also ended up backfiring. But just do some shit like that and just keep your hands off. Definitely be like the Rover. Go around to each meeting, kind of peek your head in, listen, don't say shit, and walk away. How about that? That's what you should do.
Yeah, I saw people like, well, what does Tomlin do? I saw some of that underneath on the tweet. I'm like, well, Tomlin actually establishes a culture and has, people respect him and hold him accountable. This guy, they laid down like dogs for the last 7 games of the season for him. And if they really had respect for him as their head coach, they would have been playing hard. If you look at me in my eyes and tell me that they played hard in that playoff game, I'll call you a goddamn liar, because especially on the defensive side of the ball, those guys just quit. I mean, James Bradbury, he's been thinking about Cancun since about early November. He has had enough of this season. So he got his money. He can't believe he probably got paid again. He's like, you know what? This is sick. I'm basically set for life now. We're good to go. I can't sit here and tell you I feel good or I'm confident about the Eagles. I think anyone out there, you can be confident if you want, or you can be an Eagles fan if you want. That's totally up to you. I'm still a fan. I just have no faith, belief, or confidence in this organization or team anymore. So until they prove me otherwise, why should I?
I'm with you 100%.
Yeah. So I don't think we really missed anything from the actual press conference that was worthy of talking about, right? I mean, there was
it was
a really lot of
just,
nothing happened. I love that the one reporter asked Nick Sirianni, "What? So you're not going to run the offense, you're not going to run the defense. So what's your job, basically? Like what do you do?" So
yeah, what does he do?
And he's like, "I'm the head football coach. I go, maybe he's going to
bring the pasta.
Yeah, I'm going to hang out. I'm going to make sure everything's good. I just coach the football team. I call timeouts and." I don't like dumping on him, but it's just he just looked like he was in over his head, man.
Yes, you do.
Yeah, well, I do because he deserves it. Because he was so arrogant, and then now it's like he's got his tail tucked between his legs. If you really believed in yourself and you were like that guy, then I'd be like, you guys are morons for wanting me fired. I'd be talking shit still because I'm here. Like what are you gonna do? You ain't gonna fire me now. So
yeah,
I don't know. I guess. I do like, I'm sitting here seeing all this Vic Fangio talk on Twitter, and that is satisfying. But it's going to be tough for me to be excited.
All I ask is the OC is not from the Eagles Colts coaching tree, because that coaching tree, like I just saw somebody say on Twitter, is like a palm tree, no branches at all, very stale and boring. And I agree. I don't want this Eagles Colts dynamic pipeline that they are trying to make. I don't like it. I don't really like it at all. I mean, Shane Steichen is awesome, but that's about it.
I have an article tie in front of me that has 17 offensive coordinator candidates. So we're going to go through these real quick. Just why not, right? I mean, we got nothing else to do. So, at number 1, Darrell Bevell. Remember him?
No thanks. Yeah, no thanks.
The 54-year-old Bevell has spent the last couple seasons as the quarterbacks coach and passing game coordinator for the Dolphins. But he does he has significant offensive coordinator experience with the Jaguars, Lions, Seahawks, and Vikings, all known as explosive and great ingenuity offenses. I remember him with the Seahawks when he was coaching Russell. They weren't bad then, but I think that I'm good on that. How about Eric Bieniemy? I'd be okay with that.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really know what he does, but I think when he went to Washington, I guess he was calling plays, and they seem to be. I mean, listen, they gave us a lot of fucking trouble. So maybe that would work.
I mean, that doesn't say much because our defense was trash, but everyone said he doesn't do shit in Kansas City, and then he went to Washington and made Sam Howell look like he was. It's not his fault. Sam Howell was just serving the ball away on interceptions.
Yeah, Sam Howell.
Yeah, exactly. That wasn't his fault, but I think they were able to move the ball. Terry McLaurin had a pretty good year, so I guess I would be okay with that. How about Joe Brady? There's a very good chance Brady will not be available because he served the second half of the year as the interim OC. But chance. You would be down with that, though, right?
I would. That's the guy who brought me my 2019 LSU Tigers national championship.
Yep.
Not single-handedly, but he was pretty much the man. He had never called plays before. He wasn't the OC at LSU. He was the passing game coordinator. But I think everybody in the building knows he was the mastermind behind that scheme. No disrespect to Mr. Steve Ensminger, Coach E. He did a lot of great things. But Joe Brady, I think, was just a huge jump in roles, and he won a national championship. Went and parlayed that into a OC job for the Panthers. That didn't work, but again, the Panthers are just a fucking black hole for talent.
Really,
he goes to Buffalo, and he does what we thought we were going to do on the defensive side. He turns up week 10, 12, 14. Was it Ken Dorsey takes his spot? Next thing you know, James Cook is rushing for 100, 150 every game. It's like, oh, wow, we couldn't do this all year. So I like what Joe Brady's done. I think there's no chance. I think if anything, he's the future head coach in Buffalo. If anything were to happen to whatever his name is.
So now
I forget it.
What did you say? My bad. I was already...
Who's the Bills coach?
Sean McDermott.
Sean McDermott, that's right. I was going to say Josh McDaniels, but...
Sean McDermott, who took under the ideals of the Al-Qaeda midway through the season, and then the team turned it around. So
Yeah, I guess
Allegedly.
maybe that's what we have to do. Yeah.
I like how
I
that
don't
guy
know.
had to like basically. I like how he was like. I couldn't imagine being in that team meeting room the one day, and he's like, well, think about what Al Qaeda did on 9/11. Everyone's like, wait, what? The
Hold
fuck is
on.
he talking about? Even if even if you had a point, it probably wasn't the best way to say it. How about Liam Cohen? I don't know anything about this gentleman. 38
Kentucky
years
guy.
old. Yeah, has been ping-ponging back and forth between the Rams under Sean McVay and the Kentucky program. In 2023, Cohen was the OC and quarterbacks coach at Kentucky after holding the OC job in LA in 2022. Cohen reportedly said he's staying at Kentucky, but we'll see if that holds true. Cohen has been garnering some significant NFL attention. I'd be down with that.
He did really well with South Jersey's own Devin Leary.
Yeah.
And Ray Davis. I think Ray Davis. The whole Kentucky offense in general did pretty well. And Mark Stoops, that program is only going to do, 7 wins, 8 wins. Like that's a basketball school. They're not.
They're
gonna,
up against it in that
They're
conference.
very, very up against it. I don't think they really dumped that many resources into the football program. So the fact that their offense was something good after losing Will Levis, who was one of the best quarterbacks in team history. Yeah, I think that's pretty impressive what he did. Again, working under McVay. He was in LA last year. He was the OC last year. So, yeah, he's called plays in college and pros, and I think he's pretty young, right? You say 38? Yeah, love it. I'd be here for it. I mean, it would be under the radar. So, a lot of Eagles fans would be like, this guy sucks. Why are we hiring a guy named Liam? And be like, what, bro? Like, you don't even know who he is. So,
Yeah, that's
I'm here for it, yeah.
There's always going to – I mean, there'll probably be a guy that'll be me at some point just shitting on him and be like, wait, you thought you wanted him? I'd be like, yeah, but his name's Liam. And I'll just –
Yeah,
I'm an Eagles hater right now. So the next name on this list, your boy, Ty, Jim Bob Cooter. 39 years old, was with the Eagles during the
39?
2021 season. I know, he's been around forever, dude. He was here in Philly as a consultant in 2021 before taking the job with the Jaguars in 2022. But in 23, he became the Colts offensive coordinator under former Eagles OC Shane Steichen. So why would he leave Indy for a different OC job? Well, the Eagles job likely comes with the ability to call plays, which Steichen clearly isn't going to give up with the Colts. So,
dude, he was like the Lions OC like 10 years ago or something like that.
I know.
Was he like 29, 30 when he was the OC there? What the fuck?
I do remember that being like a conversation that it's like, damn, that guy is so young calling plays. Well, obviously, yeah. I mean, your name being Jim Bob and you're a head coach is insane, or you're coaching.
And Cooter.
Yeah,
James
yeah, well,
Robert Cooter.
Don't even. He was a offensive assistant for the Colts in 2009. So that was 15 years ago.
Young bull.
Yeah, he was. I mean, graduate assistant for Tennessee, offensive assistant for Indianapolis for 3 years. Then he went to the Chiefs, offensive quality control, Broncos offensive assistant. Then he was the quarterbacks coach in 2014-15 for the Lions, and then he became the OC in 2016. So. Yeah, he was, in his early 30s by then. So then, and I just talked about.
He's got some experience for sure. Maybe he's good. I probably have no idea what I'm talking about again, but it's just that Colts coaching trend.
Yeah.
No, I don't know. I know, but I do like how he's bounced around: Jags, Jets, Lions, Broncos, Chiefs. Yeah, I'm not. I guess he started out at UT. So yeah, I mean, I guess I wouldn't be against it necessarily.
Yeah, I guess that's how I feel. I wouldn't be in love with it, but. I'd be like, all right, it's better than Cliff Kingsbury or some of these other names that we're gonna say. Next one is Gerard Johnson. We talked about him.
Bring him on in.
Yeah, you're a fan. I am not necessarily not a fan. I'm just more worried because he is a guy who hasn't called plays before. But I mean, I've also been vouching for people who haven't called plays yet as well. So, but the one thing is bad for your Gerard Johnson stuff is that he coached under Frank Reich. So. He coached under Frank Reich in Indianapolis.
Good.
So that's always something to get you excited.
Also played under, I think, Jimbo Fisher. So not Jimbo Fisher.
And you hate him, though. Sure. I know you do hate him. So
no, but I was wrong. He was at FSU, not A&M. Anyway,
Cliff Kingsbury is the next name on this list. I know that's another one that you love. We're not going to spend too much time on him. How about Clint Kubiak? This is a guy who is, I believe the passing game coordinator in San Francisco, son of Gary Kubiak, who I believe was the head coach of the Broncos when they won the Super Bowl. I'm not sure. But he held that title in Denver also the previous season, being the passing game coordinator, and was the Vikings OC before that. So Would Sirianni be
Well,
able
please.
to implement some of the staples of another offensive system? Sure, fucking hope so. I would be okay
Yeah,
with
should be
that.
able to.
That's a name I would be okay with because he's from San Fran. That's all I need. And this is a guy who his dad was a coach. It's in his blood. We could use a little bit of that. Just a guy who I just trust him. I already your name's Kubiak. I trust you. So that's all I need. He's on my list. Byron Leftwich, you don't. You're not a huge fan of his, I would say.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm not a huge fan, but I just like. What he got fired right from the team last year from the
Yeah, the Bucks offense was like kind of stale, and then
With
they fired
Brady.
him, and they hired Dave Canales, and they turned it all around.
with Baker
I don't know if
Mayfield.
that's-
So yeah, I think that
yeah.
kind of says everything you need to know. How about T. Martin?
No. No.
Why?
I'm good on T. Martin.
Why?
I can't believe his name is even brought up as an offensive coordinator in the NFL. Get the fuck out of here. That guy was an offensive coordinator for USC like 8 years ago. Went to Tennessee. I remember LSU fans wanted him to be the wide receiver coach, and he never fucking came. And he's just been wide receiver coach, wide receiver. No, I'm good. There's no shot that guy has ever been an offensive coordinator outside of his stint at USC. And there's no. Oh, I'm sorry, the North Atlanta High School. Forgot he was the OC there. Yeah, he was a QB coach and wide receivers coach for the Ravens. Well, the wide receivers are terrible, and the quarterback I don't think that's any of his doing that Lamar Jackson's good.
Yeah,
I'm good.
Jackson was good long
I'll
before he
pass.
got there. Yeah, I'm okay with him. Josh McDaniels?
No. Apparently, Josh McDaniels is going to follow Bill Belichick. Whoever hires that duo is just asking to get fired.
Yeah, the thing with Josh McDaniels is he's like the only good thing about him, not here, but whoever you hire, like wherever he goes, you probably don't have to worry about him getting a head coaching job. So you'll probably have him for a long time. if you choose to, you might just wind up firing him. The next one, Kellen Moore. We kind of already talked about him. Not exactly a huge fan of his.
I'm not too sure because like he's been in some weird situations. So maybe I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah, not exactly too excited. And is he gonna be? I guess the Chargers are gonna have a new head coach, so more than likely he's gonna be available to go out and got. Then there's a gentleman named Greg Olson, who's not the guy who's on Fox and former tight end.
Not that Greg Olson, no.
60-year-old, has significant NFL experience and has been an OC for several different teams, including the Lions, Rams, Raiders, and Jaguars. In 2023, he was the quarterbacks coach in Seattle. So I don't know. I'm not a big fan.
Yeah.
As much as I talked about how the DC needs to be an old guy, I don't know if the offensive coordinator necessarily needs to be an old guy. I'm not in love with that. But Frank Reich, that's the next one on the list. I know you have been banging the drum saying that Frank Reich is the guy for you and that you believe in him. No, I'm just kidding. Nobody, I think, ever has said that. That's like that's the one I think is just like where I give up on the Eagles completely when they finally bring him in. Zach Robinson, I talked about him. That's my guy.
I'm here for it. Yep.
Arthur Smith. Now that's actually something that I mean, at least he's called plays. That's
terrible plays. I'm good. He's the guy that doesn't use his top 5 and top 10 draft picks in the game, and he brings in Cordero Patterson, who's old as dirt. I'm good.
Alex Van Pelt. The Browns moved on from Van Pelt this month, but he's already getting some interest elsewhere. 53-year-old coach was OC in Cleveland for 2020 to 2023. It was previously the quarterback's coach in Green Bay.
Yep. I thought he was a pretty good name, but I don't really know.
Yeah,
from Pittsburgh.
I'm good on that. How about if I had to put a list together, Ty, it would be Zach Robinson, Liam Cohen, and Clint Kubiak. Those are the 3 guys that I'm
here for.
And Jim Bob as the outside. Eric Bieniemy.
Yeah.
One of those 5 guys. I'm giving you 5 names, Howie. If you can pick from them, then I am all for it. So
hopefully he makes the right hire.
That article's from NBC Sports Philadelphia, by the way. I couldn't see a name on there. I was trying to figure out
17 goddamn candidates. Jeez.
That's a lot. They're giving us stuff to talk about, though. That's the one thing I am happy about. The Eagles always give us stuff to talk about. Give me something to get excited about. Except I'm not excited. That's the one thing. I'm not excited at all. I just am feeling so negative. I'm trying to give somebody credit for writing this article, but I guess there's just no name on here. That's all good. Right, that sucks. Good for you. So there it is. That is the Eagles conversation for the day. We'll probably be back next week when they hire an OC, and we can sit here and argue, and then we'll probably start talking about the draft soon and the NFL in general. Have you been watching the playoff games? Do you care at all about?
Yeah,
I watched.
Yeah,
Go ahead, my bad.
No, I'm watching. I'm tuned in. I love it. I think this weekend's gonna be interesting. I'm kind of torn on who I want to win. I think I want to see the Ravens and the Lions. I think that's what I want to see too. That would be probably the best, maybe not the best matchup, but that's what I want to see.
What about last week? Did you? I think the Packers kind of blew that game, 100%.
Yeah.
Bills again blew that. Ravens they kind of just cruised. It was tight for a little bit, but I think they were going to take care of business. And then the Lions game, you knew how that was eventually going to go, even though that was a little close at points during that game. But it's the playoffs, so you're not going to just be blowing teams out. But going into this weekend, I'm rooting for the Lions. I don't want to see the 49ers win. And I think if Debo's not playing, they might be in trouble. That could be a problem. And on the other side, it's going to be tough to pick against the Chiefs, Ty.
Look at the lines real quick. 3.5. 7 seems like a lot for the Niners. I don't know what you think about that, but
7?
They're 7-point favorites. That's the big. I mean, the thing that I'm thinking is the Detroit Lions secondary is butt cheeks. Other than Brian Branch, who we should have drafted.
What about CJ? Everyone tells me that's what the Eagles were missing this year. That we'd be in the Super Bowl if we had him.
Yeah, we would. No, I mean him and Tracy Walker. Who's the guy that goes for everybody's
Kirby
knees?
Joseph.
Kirby Joseph. Yeah, I don't have much. Their linebackers are pretty not good either. Aiden Hutchinson definitely is a player to watch for them, but I think if things are rolling, I guess I could see a blowout. But that's if Debo plays. If he doesn't play, it gets a little interesting. I think their numbers without Debo go down, in a big way. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see what happens there.
Yeah, if I had to pick, I probably would take the Lions on that points, especially if Debo's not playing. And on the other side, if you can hear noise in the background, that's my dog attacking something. I'm trying to get her out of this room, and she's just not. She will not leave. So, I would probably take the Chiefs off instinct, but I think that's
yeah.
What are the Ravens? Probably like -2.5, 3.
3.5.
Yeah, give me the Chiefs. Chiefs are just tough. And what is the over? Do you know what the over/under is in this? Because I feel like it's going to be a low-scoring affair.
Chiefs game, it says 44.5.
That's low.
Divided by
not
ESPN
a lot of points.
bet.
Yeah, so maybe shout out to ESPN bet. I don't wonder if they're paying people yet. I heard there was a little bit of drama with that going on for a while. But that's the NFL discussion. How about the Sixers? I guess I really don't want to talk too much about them, but I did just want to shout out Joel for dropping 70. I mean, that's absolutely insane.
Monster.
Yeah, it's all about his health, really. I mean, he really is that guy. There's no other way to explain it. The man scored 70 points, only making 1 3, and he had 18 boards to add to that. And the same night,
5 assists, right?
Yeah, 5 assists. The same night, Cat's out there being a peg trying to score 70 and cost his team the game, and his coach shits on him after the game. That's one of the funnier things I've ever seen in my life. Because then I was like, that's fucked up, dude. Like, the guy had a great game. Then you go watch the highlights. You're like, oh, okay.
He was just jacking.
He's just dribbling into triple teams and just turning the ball over the whole game. So, yeah, it makes sense. The thing I did notice about Joel, and this, especially, he's been doing it all year, but this game you could tell, like, he's gotten so good at establishing his position down low and just bumping people out and dominating from down low, especially when he has an inferior opponent trying to guard him down there, whether it be Zach Collins
or Zach Collins.
Yeah,
that motherfucker got baptized.
And what's it called? Wemby was getting taken to school early in that game.
But at least Wemby bounced. I mean, he was doing his own.
Wemby was scoring. Yeah, like he did his thing. The problem with the Sixers, I will say, Ty, is they don't really play defense a lot.
I noticed that because I was like, all right, this game will be a blowout. So Dave Greenlaw was there. Shout out to Dave. There's a lot of people actually at that game that I
my boy Luke. Shout out Luke.
Shout out Luke. This girl Lisa, I'm friends with. Shout out Lisa. Shout out to all the people, shout out all the fans.
Shout out all our fans out there. I don't know if I actually don't even know if those people listen, but who knows? Shout out to
who
them.
knows, right? Hopefully, but I was like, he probably won't get it because they're going to be up so much, and they were up so much, and then the bench came in, and then they weren't up so much. So Devin Vassell, early in the game, Vassell was doing whatever he wanted. Shetty Osman, he was hitting some shots. Everybody was just hitting shots. All of them were. Trey Jones. So that sucked. That was unfortunate. I think we saw the Miami Heat make a big trade and improve their roster. I think I don't think that necessarily puts them over us, but it's a move. It's an Eastern Conference opponent that made a move, a very easy, smart move, swapping Kyle Lowry for Terry Rozier and giving up a first-round pick in a couple of years. That's a no-brainer in my opinion. So Terry Rozier is a bit of a jack, but he's another option that they need. Honestly, they were not going to win it or compete with what they had, so that's big for them. And I think we also need to do something like that. We need to make a move. Absolutely, 100% need to make a move. I don't want this Embiid 70, 18, and 5 performance to overshadow the holes in this roster. Once the Heat made that trade, I tagged Daryl Morey. I said, your move. Your next move. Like, you got to do something, brother. Like, the Hawks are trying to trade DeJounte Murray. I think I would take him. I think I would like him a lot. I think he's a pretty good two-way player, even though Tobias is kind of piecing him up. That's not great to see, but Tobias has those games where he kind of gets hot. So I wouldn't mind DeJounte Murray. I think the price tags would be a little high.
I saw 2 first-round picks and a starting player.
Yeah, can't do it. Sorry,
but you're out on that now.
I mean, we don't. What are we gonna do? Give him Batum and 2 first-round picks? Like, okay, I guess, but like, one, do they even want Batum? Probably not. No. Like, I'm tired of number 25 just playing at all. Like, I'd rather him just never play ever again. But I guess we tampered to get him, so you got to put him in there.
That'd be Danul House.
Unbelievable. So.
Danul. How about Danul?
Danul. But it was the anniversary of Kobe's 81-point game, and around the whole league, everybody was going off. Embiid had 70, 18-5, which is nuts. Cat had 62 and 8. KD had 43, 6 and 8. Tatum had 39, 11 and 5. Wemby had a good game, like we said. Luka had 33, 18 and 13. Giannis 31, 17 and 10. Also, Giannis, new head coach. The Bucks making a change. I don't understand the allure behind hiring Doc Rivers, bringing Doc Rivers into any kind of situation whatsoever. But people seem to do. Apparently, it's a lucrative deal. They gave him a big deal to come in. I can't, for the life of me, imagine why. He has fucked up every single situation he has touched. I see people saying, "Well, he can't be worse." The fuck he can't be. We thought he wasn't going to be worse than what we had. And,
come on, guys. What y'all want to do?
Things didn't get better.
It's on y'all.
So
I'll never forget
Adrian
that.
Griffin.
In the middle of a playoff game, this guy's going, "Come on!" Like, he has nothing to say. He's just trying to
That's it.
Come on, guys. Yeah. And James Harden's probably like, "What the fuck am I doing here, man?"
Yeah. Shut the fuck up, idiot. That's what I would have said. So not sure what they're doing, but firing Adrian Griffin, who apparently Stephen A. Smith said this last week. They said if Adrian Griffin keeps doing this, he's going to get fired. And everyone's like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" And then he gets fired. So I love what Nick Nurse is doing, but again, I need Daryl Morey to step the fuck up and do something.
Yeah, so I'm going to hope that just leads to them melting down in the playoffs. Apparently, he was just asking them to play some defense, and Giannis was like, "Nah, well, you got to get him the fuck out of here." There was something going on with that team, though. There was. There was guys pointing at each other, telling them to go fuck themselves on the floor. Do you see that video? Brooke Lopez just like freaking. Brooke Lopez has been having mental breakdowns for like the last 3 weeks, so that makes sense why it was like time to go. I didn't understand why they hired him specifically in the first place, but that's what Giannis gets. Apparently, he didn't want Nick Nurse, so get fucked, buddy. Thank you for thank you for turning your back on him. And now we have probably the best head coach we've had in a little bit here in Philadelphia.
Yeah, Larry Brown.
Yeah, especially for the Sixers, I should specify that. But yeah, I'm glad. Best case scenario, these Bucks, they fall off a little bit, or they even turn it up and they get that 2 seed. As long as it's them in the 2 and us in the 3, we might actually be able to get to the 3rd round for the first time in a long time. I would feel good about that because now they're trying to trade Pat Connaughton, and I saw somebody else. I forget what the name is. there was somebody else that they're trying to package those two to get another guy. And I also saw that Matisse Thybulle won't accept a trade there because of Doc Rivers.
That's crazy.
That's
insane. Matisse Thybulle thinking he can dictate where he plays in this league as a guy who averages like 3 points a game on the Portland Trail Blazers.
Cameron Payne was the other guy, by the way, that they're trying to package those two. I don't know what that's going to get you.
I would absolutely love to give you a bag of basketballs for that. Matisse Thybulle is shooting 41% from the field this year, 5.5 points a game, 36%. Hey, 37% from three, right? That's something. 1.6 steals a game. That's so funny because he's up there in point and steals leaders, but he like plays like I don't know, like 20 minutes a game. So whatever, fuck him.
I think that's probably it for the Sixers. I guess I did want to talk about this real quick. There's four. I see an article here. This is written. This is the Sixers Wire, and the gentleman who wrote this, or lady, I'm not sure, is Kai Carlin. So shout out to them. But they gave four names. This was written a couple weeks ago, so it's not exactly updated. But this is just an idea of four names that you might. Would you be interested in? I would like to ask you. Tyus Jones. I believe he's playing for the Wizards
I would like
right
him
now.
as a point guard.
Yeah.
He has like crazy assist to turnover ratio. So having like another steady ball handler would be awesome. I would be for that. Probably be cheap. So yeah, I'd be all for that.
I think that's what we're like looking at. I don't think they're going to go out and get a big time star, especially if they have to hemorrhage all of their assets. I don't think that is going to be worth it. But I mean, who knows, right? It's really kind of. Daryl Morey, we think he's going to do one thing. We didn't think he was going to end up with James Harden, and then he kind of got him, and then he gave up a lot for him. So, how about Royce O'Neal?
I feel like he's been a pretty good 3-and-D guy. I feel like a younger version of a Covington type. I wouldn't be against that. I want more than that, but yeah.
I definitely want more than that. I am with you in that sense. I want, like, if they're going to get, like, a Royce O'Neal or something like that, then I want a couple of these guys, and I don't want to give up that much for them. So if that's not even possible, then I don't know, I guess. What about Alex Caruso? That's the next name on the list. I'd be cool with this.
Yeah, he's an elite perimeter defender. Also can shoot a little bit, score a little bit. I think his shooting splits this year, 49, 42, 77. So that's pretty good. 10 points, 3.5 assists, 3.5 rebounds, 2.5 assists. About a block and a steal, 1.3 steals. It seems like he can kind of do a lot, honestly, and he's on a bad team.
Yeah.
Even though they have been playing better without Zach LaVine, which is very ironic. I guess you can cross him off our wish list with that news. So, yeah, I would take Caruso and Drummond, like a package to get Drummond as the backup center. I mean, I don't think Paul Reed's going to cut it. I'm just going to say that, but
yeah, I'd be cool with that. There is something. So they just need a little bit more. How about Dorian Finney-Smith from the Nets is another guy from Brooklyn.
DFS.
Looks like Brooklyn will be kind of moving on from some guys. So,
yeah, he's also kind of in that Royce O'Neal mold. He's not going to go out and create for you, but he's a pretty good rebounder, pretty good defender, good shooter. DFS is my boy from UF, so yeah, I would. He's 30-ish, I think. Yeah, he's 30 years old. I think Royce O'Neal. Man, I feel like I watched him play at Baylor so long ago. He's also 30, so. Yeah, some kind of one of those two guys I think would be good to put on the perimeter. Yeah,
I know they kind of do the same.
Not necessarily get Batum out here, but just have more options that can defend on the perimeter because we definitely need it.
Yeah, we don't need Batum playing 30 minutes a night or upwards of 25 minutes a night. We can do without that. Trade deadline is February 8th. Ty, we're kind of marching towards that, so they're gonna have to make some sort of move or something's going to come down. The Wizards are taking but not countering Kuzma trade offers.
I'm good.
Miles Bridges trade rumor brings fan outrage.
We fucking love Miles Bridges.
Miles Bridges would be awesome. That's like a superstar.
Miles Bridges should be a Sixer.
He should have been. That was one. It's going to go down as one of the worst moves of all time.
Is that Mikal?
No, Miles. Okay, that's my bad. You're right. Miles Bridges is the guy who's beating the shit out of his girlfriend.
Yes.
Yeah, we don't want him.
Then we don't want the guy who's changing the Netflix password just to send a message to his girlfriend that he beat up.
Yeah,
we don't want him. Also, he stat pads against bad teams.
I don't think he's really that good.
Rapper in the league.
He might be the best rapper in the league. Well, and Edwards is pretty good too.
And Edwards is but no, Miles. I'm sorry, Mikal Bridges is the guy.
Yes,
it should. I mean,
that's who I would want.
I can't get over how fucking bad of a move that was.
Zaire.
Not even just being a revisionist history guy. I'm not even trying to be
At
that
the
kind of
time,
guy,
it was
but,
like, no, like
everybody was excited. The mom worked for the team. You're interviewing her with her son with the Sixers hat, and like, oh, by the way, we traded you. You fucking idiot. Leave.
Zaire
like,
Smith is
okay,
currently
thanks.
playing for the Cleveland Charge in the G League.
I bet he is.
He's
I
only
bet he's not.
Todd,
I bet he's.
24 years old, dude. He's been
That's crazy.
he has been like gone for a while. Like he hasn't played. He played for the Blue Coats in 2020, and then that was it. Like he just kind of disappeared. God, there's some of these stat lines shooting 4 of 18 from behind the arc. Oh no!
Yeah, shooting 32% from the 3-point line in the G League. I'm good. I'm good.
And now he was signed with the Memphis Grizzlies, but was waived the next day in 2020. And then it was included in the Memphis Hustle G League roster, but did not play a game for the team. And in July of 2023, he played for the Oklahoma City Summer League team. And on September 15th, Smith signed with the Cleveland Charge. The Cavaliers, but was waived on October 21st. 1 week later, signed with the Cleveland Charge. I'd like to see what his stats are. This is what we do this
12
podcast
points,
for.
it looks like.
Really? Hey, maybe he can bring something for the Sixers. No, I'm just fucking around, but oh man, it's still when I see his name I get triggered. Then the guy had ate some peanut butter and almost died or something along those lines.
Lost like 70 pounds.
Yeah, what a nightmare of a situation and time that was to be a Sixers fan, because they do that. The Markelle Fultz's shoulder stops working. Guy forgets how to shoot.
Can't shoot.
There's a lot of shit going on then, and all of those different. I mean, Ben Simmons. He goes without saying, but
still not playing.
Would you want Kyle Lowry? I saw he was a part of that trade, and he's going to probably get waived at some point.
I guess as a buyout piece.
I wouldn't trade for him, but I would take him in the buyout market.
I guess. I mean, no.
It seems like he's had many opportunities to kind of come here, or it's been close and it doesn't work out. He's also going to be 38 in a month. Or 2 months.
The last thing we want to do is get older, but I mean, why not? I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, he hasn't looked horrible in the games I've seen this year. I don't know if that would be something I'm really banging the drum for, getting excited about. It would just, at worst case scenario, it's like, all right, I guess bring in Kyle Lowry. Other than that, I can't see any big moves on the horizon. It looks like this is going to be the team. Hopefully they add a little bit more depth. I think that would be the big difference. Somebody that could probably play point guard off the bench that's not Pat Bev, and somebody that can just, I guess, another wing defender. You can always use more wing defense. So maybe one of those guys from the Nets would be perfect for us. How about, I guess we'll go Reese Hoskins first before we get to the Flyers, and Flyers might be a little bit more of a heavy conversation. Reese Hoskins, what is it, 2 years, $34 million. He is now a Milwaukee Brewer. He has an option after the first year. I think that's a good move I think he's a good addition for any team that may be out there looking for a right-handed power bat. It's a shame the Phillies weren't going to be able to make him work or, get him into the fold. It wasn't going to work out. He was going to be a permanent DH basically, and they have too many guys like that. It would have been him and Harper switching DH while you're going to play Schwarber every day. I think we kind of experienced that that's not exactly an ideal situation. So it just looks like they're going to run Castellanos in right, Marsh in left, Rojas in center, Schwarber DH is going to be the situation, it seems.
Yuck.
Yeah, I guess it could be worse. It's not. I don't know. I mean, this is a team that went to the NLCS last year, so I can't get too upset about it. But I just don't. I don't like how the Phillies are approaching this offseason and being okay with the status quo and saying, well, we went this far last year. This team's good enough. Obviously, it wasn't good enough because it's come up short 2 years in a row. And I know they added Trey Turner. He'll be better this upcoming season. And I know how you feel about him. But, yeah, I knew there was something coming there. But I'm not. I don't know. They need starters. There's still no bullpen arms have been added. Hader goes to the Astros. I guess we forgot to talk about that, too. That's, a bigger shoe that dropped in the on the stove. The stove heated up for a little bit, and then it cooled back down. Yeah. Somebody forgot to pay the gas bill. But yeah, listen, it's tough to see Mr. Hoskins go. The man was an author of one of the best moments I've had as a Phillies fan, and I've had some great moments. The whole 08 run and all that. when he smoked that home run off of Strider, that was an all-time moment, and I'll always be in debt and have gratitude towards him. He hit some big home runs here and last year in the playoffs, and it's a shame that he wasn't able to help during this run or even help his own stock, because if he goes out there and has a good year this year, maybe he gets a 5-year $70 million, something, maybe more than that, 5-year $20 million or $100 million, 20 per year. Who knows? It's just tough to see him go though, and hope he does well out there. Hope everything works out for Mr. Rhys Hoskins.
Yeah.
Not really much MLB rumors.
He will be missed. R.I.P.
R.I.P. His Phillies career. He's still alive though, so I don't want to put him in the grave. And I don't want to say rest in piss like I've said to a few people, but
yeah, you have.
Yeah. So if you watch if you listen to the MLB or not the MLB, the UFC podcast, we say rest in piss quite a few times because honestly, sometimes guys get knocked out. They're not good guys.
Piss.
Wow. Yeah. I mean that's we'll have another. Have plenty of news to discuss on the next UFC pod. How about Carter Hart stepping away from the Philadelphia Flyers for undisclosed personal reasons? And I see people saying, don't speculate yet. Well, you know how on this podcast, when you step away and you have personal reasons, we right away think, oh, you're a booze bag, dude. you got
it usually turns out to be true. Everybody thought Corey Perry was banging moms. He was the booze bag.
Yeah,
so,
well.
same thing with the Spencer
He might have been doing both.
Yes, probably.
Allegedly.
A little bit of boozing, a little bit of
mom banging.
So, Carter Hart, I guess I'll let you go back to what you were about to say.
No, yeah, it seems like this one's a little bit more sinister than that one might have been. This is involving I think you would probably know more than me. There was some sort of sexual assault case involving 2018 Canadian junior team?
Yeah, and 6 years almost that the Hockey Canada has pretty much just done nothing. It's crazy how they've completely done nothing. They are not completely, but they are also at fault here for why this has taken so long. It appears that I saw that there's going to be a press conference held. Also, a video, Javon Holland tweeting a video of him kicking rocks. I guess maybe that has something to do with Vic Fangio leaving, so that's good. I think February 5th, the London police are going to have why do we have to why February 5th? Why are we delaying this any more than it has to be delayed? 2 weeks for what reason? Or does this victim does anybody care about the victim? I guess not. Apparently there was 5 to 8. I think 5 players were involved in a brutal sexual assault of this woman, of this victim, I should say. And then there was 3 others that were involved in some way, shape, or form. They were there. They knew about it. Something. And Michael McLeod, Cal Foote, Dylan Dubé, Carter Hart, and Alex Formenton, who is playing in Sweden, have all requested indefinite leaves of absence from their teams. The City of London, Ontario, has summoned 5 players from the 2018 Canadian Hockey World Junior Champion team to face sexual assault charges. So, 2 players from the Devils, Michael McLeod, Cal Foote, Dylan Dubé, I think he's on the Canadians, Carter Hart, Alex Formenton, again, like I said, he's not even in the NHL. The fact that he's getting summoned from Sweden to come all the way to London, Ontario, I feel like that's not good news for Mr. Alex Formenton. And then there's a couple other players, Taylor Radish of the Blackhawks, Boris Kachuk of the Blackhawks. I'm trying to think of the other name. A couple others that have been mentioned that might have been there or knew about it or
pretty
something.
Pretty much anyone on that team has kind of been at least it's like it's up in the air. Most
of them have been cleared.
Yeah, I agree. But in the beginning it was like, well, if you were on that team, you could have been possibly involved in this, and they had to slowly. I mean, like you said, 6 fucking years.
Dude, insane.
They've slowly just sort of weeded out and gotten rid of some of these names. It always felt like Carter Hart was involved in this because he never said much about it.
Yeah, the fact that he didn't deny any wrongdoing, a lot of these players did. Like Cale Makar, some of them had an alibi, some of them had already said something. But listen, I don't want to say anybody's guilty or play the role of the judge, jury, or executioner here. But the fact that this is all happening in the same time span, I mean, come on, 1 + 1 = 2. I think we can all do math. I think we can all piece together this puzzle. Um, all of them taking leaves of absence. Nobody saying anything. Briere being like, "Yeah, I can't say anything. I don't know." Obviously, because of what it is, of what the truth is, of the reality. So I guess we'll find out on February 5th when the London, Ontario police, they have their press conference, and then we'll see, who they're going to charge. I guess is what's going to happen, and just an overall awful, terrible, shitty situation. It sucks to see. Not just because these guys are athletes and they're, some of them are good athletes. That has nothing to do with it. It's more of like on a humane level that multiple people could do this to one person, or, whatever the details are. It's fucking insane. And that, if there's other people that knew about it, didn't speak up and just kind of like accepted it. That's the hockey culture. I fucking hate it. The Blackhawks went through a similar thing in 2010 when they won the cup. They had a rookie player who got sexually assaulted by the trainer. And, everybody just said, hey, don't fucking talk about it. Don't worry about it. Just shut up. Whatever you say doesn't matter. It's like insane.
Yeah, like that person's going through something. You can't just tell them to shut up and deal with it, Like it's
insane. So, yeah, this sucks. This also sucks because I don't want to. Sam Urson played the other day, got lit up by the Lightning. So, obviously, taking the hockey aspect into it, it's a huge loss losing your starting goalie in Carter Hart. But the fact that you're losing him for the reason that is possible is very, very disheartening and sad. So
yeah, it's horrible.
The whole situation sucks.
Yeah, like the hockey.
Yeah,
I like that. I see people say that like the hockey aspect is not of the forefront. It's not important, but it is a part of it. Like as Flyers fans. We're not, we obviously, if the man did this, I don't want anything to do with him. I don't want him to be a part of this. But from a hockey, just kind of, like having one of your draft picks say he doesn't want to play there and walk away, and then having another guy in your starting goalie and your, prodigy sort of goalie, and then he's just involved in a sexual assault case. That's like bad for just the player operations sort of standpoint from this. But I want this woman, whoever this woman is or whatever, I want their justice to be done here. Right? That's this from the sounds of this. I don't know. There haven't much details of it haven't come out. Right? It's just we just know something happened.
It's always been a couple players, a couple names, but nobody's been able to go cipher through the roster and figure out who or what exactly. So yeah, like you said, it's been a very questionable.
Yeah.
It's happened so slow. Nobody's really been cooperating. Nobody's trying to do anything. It's just the London police, and even they're taking their time. These players are all still playing, with guilty consciences. Yeah, it's the police aren't doing shit. Nobody's doing shit. The NHL isn't doing shit. I mean, they will eventually. They're definitely going to hopefully lay down a law and just, kick these guys out of the league or suspend them or I don't know. Alex Formenton, like I said, is already out of the league. Like the Senators cut bait. It's crazy. They cut ties with him. Like last year or 2 years ago, probably knowing, I don't think he's good, but I think he's good enough to be in the league. Probably knowing that this happened and like, let's just get rid of him now so that in a couple of years when it comes out, he won't be on our team. Yeah. That's fucking crazy. And then the fact that the Flyers were trying to trade Carter Hart about a year ago, was it to the Sharks or the Kings, possibly knowing what happened also. Again, maybe they did. I don't know. But assuming they did, assuming these teams knew, and I just have to imagine these teams know. Like,
something was up, but it's also
you have to. They know everything. They know everything. They don't. It's not like they're how would the GM who's 60 years old and doesn't go on social media and doesn't go out? How would he know that one of his players is doing this? Probably because he has fucking millions of people working under him. That's their job to make sure your players aren't doing some shit like that. And then when they find out, it's to dig deep. And obviously, they're going to have their own detectives and whatever, people figuring out what actually happened. And the fact that it happened at the World Juniors, there's a bunch of team representatives at the World Juniors, not just looking at what players are doing on the ice, but also monitoring what they do off of the ice, because this is so prevalent in hockey and insane hockey culture. I have to imagine these teams knew. That's again, who's Max Comtois? He's in the AHL. He should probably not be in the AHL. He's been mentioned as somebody who could be one of the other players implicated in this. So the fact that they're just keeping him in the AHL because they don't want to have him in the NHL, that's very sketchy too. So this whole situation is just bad news.
Yeah, the Flyers, Danny Briere went on had a press conference the other day. He said, "We are aware of this morning's press reports on the very serious matter," said Briere from the Flyers training center in Voorhees. "We will respond appropriately when the outcomes of the investigations are made public. The NHL has been very clear that teams should refer all investigation-related questions to them." So this is just like a hockey way of like doing things. In the meantime, members of the organization, including Flyers players, will not be commenting any further. So that's all we can say at the moment, unfortunately. That's just
not good.
Hockey culture, man. Just, they're going to stonewall this. They're going to not answer questions. They're going to hope this thing just goes away. And it's not that easy. And it shouldn't be.
No.
These people should be called out. These people should be called into question. They should have to answer for what they did. Whatever it is that they did, It's
crazy, man. Like Carter Hart, these other guys, like I can only imagine, I'm sure if you DM some girl that's hot on Instagram, maybe they put you on their story and they're like, look at this guy who's thirsty and trying to DM me. But I have to imagine it's not that hard to go out there and consensually have sex with somebody when you're, who you are in that light.
I don't know. I don't want to also just, convict these players that,
for sure.
Because we don't know. I'm reading this article. Both London Police and Hockey Canada, via a third-party firm, I don't believe anything Hockey Canada has to say, but opened investigations into
this whole thing.
Yeah, they opened investigations into the alleged sexual assault in 2018 of June of 2018. I guess I should have said. London Police closed their criminal investigation in 2019, and Hockey Canada ended its inquiry in 2020. In April of 2022. The woman filed a lawsuit against Hockey Canada, the organization that oversees Canadian junior hockey, and 8 unnamed players from Canada's 2018 World Junior Team, seeking $3.5 million in damages. In May of that year, TSN reported that Hockey Canada had settled the lawsuit with the woman out of court against the backdrop of public outrage and the revelation of other sexual assault allegations tied to members of Hockey Canada. The London Police reopened their investigation in 2022, July of 2022, I should say. So, yeah, I guess we're gonna have to. This story's gonna keep on going. We will keep. I'll keep an eye out for this. We'll keep covering it. It obviously has Philadelphia ties, so But I hope justice is served here. That's all I can really say.
Yeah, and I'm with you. I don't want to convict these guys, but again, 5 members of the team told to surrender to London Police, and then 5 players in hockey take leaves of absence at the same time, pretty much. I mean, come on.
Yeah. We're not stupid. We can kind of put two and two together.
I think we know what's going on here. Unfortunately, I guess we'll see how this unravels. Also, I just can't believe having a press conference after all this is coming out 2 weeks after. Like, we're just going to let this thing fester some more? That's insane to me.
The way the police and all that, from reading this article, I obviously haven't been following this as intensely because I knew it was a thing. I just didn't know any of the details or anything about it. But yeah, that's crazy. They're waiting that long for the press conference. They've been investigating this for that long. This is just bizarre. I guess we'll have to wait and see what comes out and what we hear about it. But until then, Ty, I guess that we should wrap it up on that note. This has been the Hot Take Hot Box. I always, at this point, worry about saying the shoulder strikes. Podcast. Because
this is the shoulder strikes,
the shoulder hot box, MMA strikes box. So yeah, no, this is the Hot Take Hot Box. My name is Matt McSweeney.
I am Ty Capone, and as always, everybody, get out, go enjoy some fresh air. Also, stay out of the DMs.